welcome back to another episode of the Aligned Avenue. And I know you're probably thinking, where the hell have you been? Where have you disappeared to? Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to quickly explain where I've been. If you've listened to the last episode, you will know I was taking a little bit of a step back from my business. I say a step back, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a full step back because I was still working a lot behind the scenes, but it was more in the sense of taking a step back from kind of one-to-one work because I was working on some super exciting things, and I just feel like this year I've been on like a bit of transformation. Just I don't know what it is, like the way I see things, the way I do things. I just feel like there's just been something in me. I don't know if it's kind of where the moon placements have all kind of been, and we've had a lot going on. If you're a Leo, I think Leo, Aries and Virgo maybe? I know definitely Leo because I'm a Leo, and we have massively been affected. Okay, everything has just kind of been going off this year for Leos. It's just, especially for me, I just feel like, I don't know, like I just feel like things have just changed. And like it's about kind of having that realization of what you actually want long term. So yeah, obviously I'll explain more, but that is kind of where I've been. If you know, obviously if you listened to my last one, I got myself a part-time job. And again, this wasn't necessarily because I was trying to take a step back and I thought, you know what, I'm throwing the towel in. No, it's because I was building an app. Obviously, I can announce it now. I've literally been working on this app for months. And I just feel like it was the universe sending me a message. I was getting to the point where I was overworking myself massively. I was severely overwhelmed, burnt out, exhausted. And I always put myself last. I put everyone else first, and I was just working myself to the ground because I obviously can see, other people can see the transformations I give people when I do the one-to-one work, and obviously when people are coming to me and they feel like they need me, I just can't really say no. That is one of my problems, and I just feel like I was abandoning myself in the process. As well, there's the kind of the other side of like being a mom and just kind of always putting myself last. Obviously my daughter will always be my number one priority, nothing will ever change that, but at the same time I also needed to be making sure I'm making time for myself, because when I pour into me, that just reflects in every other area of my life, and obviously I'll be a better version of myself for her. So that's something that I'll always talk about, because I think as mums it's so easy for us to naturally lose ourselves. When you become a mum, everything changes. Again, I'm picking up on lots of different topics here, so I will obviously discuss these in separate episodes, but just kind of as like an all-rounder, so you kind of can understand kind of where I'm at. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of what I was getting onto. So basically, at the start of the year, I got approached by a very big company in America to ask if I want to be one of their OGs, and this new sort of project that they were working on. Obviously, it's about this sort of app. At first I was like, is this a scam? Like, is this too good to be true? Because beginning of the year I was kind of questioning everything and thinking, like, how can I scale my business in a way that's not going to burn me out? I can help as many people as I can, and it's going to be something that I will consistently love, and I'm not going to kind of get to the end of the day and feel like, yes, I feel happy because I've helped people, but think, oh my god, I am so tired. And it was just like the universe answered all my prayers. Long term, that was something I always wanted anyway. Like, I was looking into apps and things last year, but honestly, they were so expensive. And I was like, it's just not realistic at the moment. And then they approached me, and yeah, it all just went from there. And I honestly think like everything happens for a reason. And I think it kind of took me to hit that point of burnout again, for me to realise like, no, the cycle's repeating. Obviously, when I had my legal job, and even when I was studying full time, and I had two other jobs. And then when I even got a legal full time 8 till 5 Monday to Friday job, I was still working at the weekends. Like, I mean, girl, who does that? But yeah, so it's just kind of, I think that's one of my life lessons. Like, girl, stop abandoning yourself. Okay, you need to put yourself first. So I'm not saying I'm there yet, but I am on that kind of journey. I'm on the avenue. Do you get it? So that's obviously again what my kind of business name's about, that little avenue. It's kind of about kind of your journey. You're on your own path. Everybody's kind of on their own path, their own journey. Which I absolutely love. So yeah, that's kind of where I've been. Now, when I first started my part-time job, everything was absolutely everywhere. Carnage, I didn't know what days I was working, didn't know what times I was working. I was having like short notice. Obviously, it's no fault of theirs. A lot was kind of going on their end. So yeah, I was very, oh god, all over the place. But hopefully, fingers crossed, everything's been sorted now. So I've got a bit of a better routine. Hopefully going forward, so I'll kind of know the days and working times, so I can plan things a lot better. So that is why I am starting this podcast back up again, and hopefully this time I'll actually have time to make it stick. Because again, this has been something I've wanted to make work. And that is another reason why I decided to take a step back from a lot of one-to-one work, because if you know, like energy work, spirit work is kind of very draining, and I just felt like I was pouring everything into one-on-one appointments without actually doing other things that I love. So if you obviously listen to my last one, I've always been into kind of tech and content creation and all that kind of stuff, but I just didn't really have the capacity to do one-to-ones and then do like a YouTube channel and podcasts and everything else, because my sole priority was making sure I got enough appointments so I could pay the bills and da 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 da. So now just kind of having a step back, taking that part-time job, it's given me a bit of breathing space. And that's not to say I'm not going to carry on doing one-to-ones. I am getting them up back and running. I'm just not doing as many, because I'm kind of trying to have better boundaries, and actually protect my energy a little bit more, instead of working myself to the ground. Because I mean, nobody should be doing that, and I think that's something I need to learn. The universe is like, when will you listen? Because you are not listening, so we're just going to keep going round and round and round until you start to listen. So, universe, if you're listening, I am listening to you, okay? I have taken a step back, but honestly, like jokes aside, I do feel so much better for it. So yeah, as I say, I've been on a bit of a journey, and that's kind of where I'm at the moment. And like I say, I just think I needed to take that step back, because I was filling my time so much with everything else. I didn't really have that time to slow down and actually listen to my intuition. Obviously I was, but sometimes I feel like you need to take a step back from a situation to kind of fully like hear everything. Yeah, and I don't know if my moldavite has got anything to do with it. I mean, it probably has. If you're into crystals, then you'll know. But moldavite is like known to be a really powerful crystal, and I got it at the beginning of the year. I was just like, fuck it, like, what's the worst that can happen? If you read about moldavite, everybody was kind of saying, like, it'll change your life. Like, this has happened. My house has burnt down. I got divorced. Like loads of like traumatic things, and I was just like, but it's kind of, it will take things out of your life or redirect you so that you get to where you want to be so much quicker. And I was just like, this was like, I think I got it before the start of the year. And I was just like, yeah, fuck it, what's the worst gonna happen? It's not going to be that bad. Things shifted. It's like I say, like, I don't know what it was just something changed, and I was like, things need to change. Like, there was just, it's so weird to explain, like, there was just a big shift, and then I just felt like a bit of a mismatch from my business. I just felt a bit misaligned, and I just felt like there was something missing. So yeah, that's kind of what's been happening behind the scenes. I've done lots of rejigging, and yeah, everything now I just feel like it's perfect. Like, I've got the app, I've got the community, the membership side of things. I'm getting back into the one-to-one appointments. Obviously, these will be limited. But yeah, that's kind of where I've been at. I'll stop rambling now, because that is not the reason why I came on, and that's not what this podcast is actually about. But yeah, I just thought I'd give you a heads up, because you're probably thinking, oh my god, how many times does she need to start a podcast and stop and stop? So yeah, that's my message. Like, they are going to be coming more frequently now. So that is the aim. But yeah, like I say, as part of this kind of transformation, this journey I've been going on, it's kind of made me realise, like, one, I've always kind of, well, not always, since my dad passed, I've always kind of had this sort of mindset of, oh my god, life's too short, and just kind of go for things. That is one of the reasons why I set up my business in the first place, because obviously when my dad suddenly passed, it just kind of made me realise how kind of precious life is, and like things can change in an instant. And I know that probably sounds really cheesy to a lot of people, but it's so true. Like, until you kind of maybe experience it, it's hard to explain, but it's kind of like, I don't know, you just see things completely different. Things that used to matter just don't. Like, I'd studied years and years for my law degree, for example, and everyone's like, you're throwing it away, like, why are you wasting, like, you're literally wasting your degree, all that money, all that time you spent. And I was like, I'm not bothered. Like, it doesn't light my soul up, it doesn't make me happy. Like, I don't wake up excited to do it, and so I'm not going to do it. And that's obviously kind of what I wanted to do when I set up my business. I wanted to be something that I was so passionate about. But along the way, I just feel like I was listening to my intuition, but then at the same time, I was doing what I thought I should be doing. So planning content, and you should be doing this kind of content and this kind of content, and speaking like in this sort of way, not necessarily changing how I spoke, but if you know you do businessy stuff, you'll kind of know like speaking like there's different kind of content, and there's lots of different things. Obviously I won't bore you and go into it, but you just feel like you kind of get consumed with everything you think you should be doing to have a successful business. And I say successful in inverted commas because what success is for one person isn't necessarily what success is for another person. But yeah, and then I just felt like I kind of maybe just lost myself a little bit on the way, and I just felt like because a lot of people's idea of success is being fully booked, constantly working all of the time, and working back-to-back appointments. That is absolutely amazing if that is something that is aligned to them, but at the same time, like that just wasn't for me. Like, don't get me wrong, I love working with one-to-one people, but I also wanted the other side. I wanted to be going and interacting with other people and doing kind of events and classes and doing things like this, a podcast, a YouTube channel, and having that community. So yeah, I feel like I've got a happy balance now. But yeah, I lost my trail of thought. Like I say, as you can see, if you're watching the video, I don't have notes. I just kind of wing things. I have a topic, and then I'll just use my intuition, and things will just come to me, whatever I need to speak about. But yeah, it just made me think last night, because basically, if you know me from a young age, I used to drive people mad because I was so OCD. Like, I was very, like, what's the word? Like, regimental. But it was worse when I was kind of at college and uni and studying, and then it just kind of stuck. Since kind of setting up my own business, kind of back in 2020, yeah, I have kind of tried to like strip that back. But yeah, I just felt like things always kind of had to be planned. Everything had to kind of be planned down to the T. I was the kind of person that would be at the airport 5 hours before, just in case. Like, I would pack about 50 different outfits just in case. I would be the person with the first aid kit just in case, with like the antihistamines, paracetamol, you name it, everything just in case. I was very much a just in case kind of person. And everything was kind of planned, like just everything was kind of very regimental and structured, which is great. Like, for studying all that kind of thing, I've got a lot of kind of drive, motivation, ambition when it comes to that kind of stuff. But on the flip side, I do feel like that had to kind of be stripped back, because especially if you're a mom or a parent, life just doesn't go like that. Like, life is not perfect. Life cannot always be like that. Life can't always be planned. Every single moment of your day cannot be planned, especially when you've got a child. You have got to learn to kind of go with the flow. And like, it made me think last night, because I was quite impressed with myself. I'll obviously explain why in a minute, but like, you just have to kind of wing things. You have to go with the flow. Like, I remember before I had my daughter, I was reading like loads of birthing books and loads of parenting, like all these stupid things. Have I used any of them? Maybe yeah, the hypnobirthing, if that's even how you say it, because I did have a nice like delivery and stuff, because I had a water birth. But yeah, I just feel like you can't plan life. Like, life will change, and it can change like that. So that's why I just think it's so important just to kind of go with the flow a bit more, just to kind of, and even like what I've just been saying about kind of just doing the things that light you up. Okay, you don't always necessarily need to have a really rigid plan that literally you have to stick to, because things change, life changes, circumstances change, people change, and that's why we have to be able to adapt. And that's kind of what I thought I would talk about in this podcast, because we just kind of sometimes can get so consumed in what we think we should be doing that we kind of lose sight of everything else. So, like, for example, have you kind of maybe set a vision board in January, or you set your goals in January, and then maybe things have changed throughout the year, and then you kind of think, oh no, I said I was going to do this by this date, or I'm going to do this by this date, and you kind of stick to it religiously because you are so determined to get to that, and then things just aren't working. Hands up, because that was also me. Again, it's nothing, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with these, but sometimes we have to be able to learn how to adapt and not be so like rigid and regimental with things, because like I say, life isn't like that. Like, we have to kind of go with the flow. 2 seconds, I'm just checking this hasn't gone off. we're still rolling, we're okay. Sometimes we just have to learn how to kind of go with the flow, and that's something I've kind of been working on, and just kind of being able to kind of take a step back and just be more in our sort of feminine energy. So yeah, if you don't know, obviously we've got our masculine energy, which I was very much in my masculine energy all of the time. And then obviously we've got our feminine energy. So your masculine energy is kind of the doing, the hustling, the kind of go, go, go. Your feminine energy is more kind of surrendering, like taking a step back, just kind of allowing that sort of free-flowing sort of energy. And it's about kind of having both. It's not just saying just chill out, sit back, do nothing and expect miracles to happen, because obviously that won't happen, but it's about that good sort of balance. But I was very much in my masculine energy, and I do still kind of struggle with this, because I do think I've got very strong masculine energy. I have to do everything, like, yeah, I do find it hard to like let go of control. But maybe it's a Leo thing. But yeah, I am trying to get more in like flow with my feminine energy, and that's kind of what I did when I took like a part-time job. I'm just trying to kind of surrendering, trusting the process, like what will be, like I know my vision and I know I'm going to get there, so I don't need to keep on grafting and hustling and doing so many appointments that's going to burn me out and get me thinking I need that for this, like just going around in circles. I am surrendering. I'm still putting the work in, don't get me wrong, but in a completely different way. But yeah, I will obviously I'll do another episode on that, because I think it's very important, like balancing your masculine and feminine energy. But again, these are kind of things that we will talk about in the community on the app. So obviously, if you don't know, we have got the app now, which I'm super excited about. Honestly, I'm so proud of it. But yeah, obviously that is kind of tailored to you. And then obviously you'll have like your program, but then on the flip side you will have kind of your all the community stuff. So yeah, I'll quickly go through it. Obviously, again, this isn't why I came on. I will get to my story. Can you just tell like I go off on tangents? Maybe I should start writing things down. But yeah, so basically the app, we kind of have the community side as well, so we can all connect with each other. Excuse me, sorry. We can all kind of connect with each other, and then we kind of have different things, like the same things, but obviously different themes and things every month. So we'll have, it's called the Avenue Reset, so every month we will kind of look at kind of what our focus is for the month, how we're going to get there, what we need to do, but again, in a more feminine energy sort of way. Honestly, it's so good. Then we do things like yoga and yap, so we'll have yoga, we can connect with each other, ask questions, we have coffee and coaching, so you can ask me anything. We'll kind of go through the coaching stuff, we have like full moon stuff, so yeah, there's lots on there. Obviously we'll have workshops and stuff as well, so yeah, it's really good. So if that's something you're interested in, then I'll pop the link in the notes. If that's something you're interested in, then have a little look. I'd love you to join us. But yeah, back to what I was saying. Honestly, why does my brain do this? Like I'll think of things, it's literally like a mind map. Do you know when you have like one thing and then it like spirals off and has loads of other things? That is a sign that I needed to slow down, because my brain's just constantly on the go. But yeah, back to where we were going with this whole episode. So last night I'd been at work all day, and I just felt a bit guilty for kind of having to take my daughter to nursery, and I was just like, honestly, the whole point of everything I've been doing is to be able to spend more time with her, just to be able to kind of have that freedom, just to be like, you know what, I don't need to work today, you don't need to go to nursery. And that is kind of the goal for me. People, like when people say like abundance, that's abundant to me, like just being able to have that time with her. And again, if you are a parent, you're probably thinking, really? But if you are, I'm sure you'll get it. But yeah, so obviously I had a busy day at work. She'd obviously, I wasn't with her because obviously I was at work, and then I just kind of, we got back, we had tea, and then there was so much that needed doing. Obviously, as always, the kitchen needs tidying, the dishes need doing, things need putting away, the ironing needs doing, and all that kind of stuff. And it was getting to the point where it was needed time for like bath, bed, book, all that kind of stuff. And I just said, shall we go for a walk? And I'm not joking, it was about 7:30 maybe when I said it. Obviously, this is the time we'd started taking her up, getting her settled. Trust me, I've tried it earlier. This girl just does not sleep. So especially with the late nights. It's impossible to try and get her to sleep any earlier. And I'm not joking, since she's probably been born, she has never properly slept. Like, she's just not a sleeper at all. She's the kind of person that'll be jumping on the bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, ready for the day. But yeah, so we've literally, especially kind of since the clock's changed, we have kind of struggled to kind of go to sleep. Like, any sort of routine, it just hasn't been happening. It could be 9 o'clock at night, half 9, 10, quarter to 10, half 10, 11, like you name it. There was no set time. And every single night, I kid you not, I have literally been fighting and fighting to try and get her asleep, to get her into a good routine. And last night I was just like, why bother? Like, and I don't mean that kind of like, oh, why bother? It was just like life for living. I was just like, it's 7:30. I was like, should we go for a walk? And my husband just looked at me. He's like, what? I was like, I know for a fact, like, I know I haven't, maybe you haven't either. Like, I was like, it's literally nearly I don't even know, it's the middle of July. I don't even update it, yeah. The middle of July, and I said, I haven't even seen one sunset properly yet. I said, we literally fight with her every night to try and get her asleep. She clearly has got lots of energy, and she's not going to sleep, so let's just go for a walk, like, let's just go. And it made me think, like, the kind of transformation I've actually had in myself, because before I would have been like, no, this is the bedtime routine, like, we need to stick to it. But girl, let me tell you, I've been sticking to this routine for nearly 3 years now. Nothing is changing, okay? And I know I straight away people think, oh, well, that's so bad, like, why she not got a bedtime routine? Trust me, I have tried and tried and tried. Okay, we have tried everything. Magnesium spray, like pillow mist, like, honestly, we've tried everything. We've tried, like, putting, like, Minnie Mouse and Moana on a bedding, like, we honestly, the red light, white noise, honestly, you name it, we've tried it, and she just does not sleep properly. Like, she just has a few hours and she's ready for the day again. But yeah, that's a whole other story, bless her. But yeah, I just thought, why not? Let's get in the car, go somewhere. And there's this place by us, and I really love it. It's all nice and woodlandy. You can see like the cows and the sheep and stuff in the distance, and I just love it. And I love stuff like that anyway. I'm very kind of countryside sort of girly at heart. I just love it. But I just thought, yeah, let's just go, get in the car. So we ended up going for a walk. I think we got there at about 7:45. And then as we pulled up on the car, this couple kind of pulled up at the same time, like an older couple. And they just looked at me and they were like, as if saying, what on earth are you doing? Like, why is this child out at this time of night? And she just looked at me, and so I just said, I was like, oh, I said, we've got one that doesn't like sleeping. I said, so we just thought we'd bring around a bit, like, burn some energy. And they're like, oh, right. And obviously they were fine, they didn't say anything nasty, but you instantly kind of think about, oh God, what, people are going to judge me? Like, because everybody, I mean, not everybody, but that's what people think, like, has got, like, their child into this perfect routine, and they all sleep, and they all sleep by 7:30. Let me tell you, no, they're not. So I just thought, you know what, just forget it. Like, and this is kind of the message, is just kind of like, what will work for one person won't necessarily work for another person. And that's kind of like, last night I just thought, you know what, we're just fighting losing battle. So let's just go out and enjoy it. Let's go out. It's absolutely gorgeous. It was what was it yesterday? 32 degrees. We went out. It was nice and cool. It's 23 degrees compared to what it's been. The sun was still shining. It was nice. And I just thought, you know what, life's too short. Like, what is the point in sitting there fighting, trying to get her asleep when she's clearly not tired? Just let her go out. Let's go out, enjoy ourselves, let her run around, burn some energy. And honestly, I felt so much better for it. We got back. Obviously, we were a bit filthy because it was like the muddy sort of dust kind of thing. But obviously, we got back. You could tell she was tired after. Got back, had baths, got sorted, straight to sleep. And I was just like, we've literally had a lovely evening. We've gone for a nice walk. Obviously, took the dog. It's good for us. Obviously, me because I like around myself. But it's good for all of us. Just to kind of get out to nature, get some fresh air, get our steps in. But like, most of all, just being able to spend that quality sort of time with her. She kind of was picking up the bricks and the twigs and all that kind of stuff, and I just thought it was so cute. And yeah, we literally got back, got sorted, and bedtime is so much easier. I just thought, like, why on earth do I fight so much trying to get this strict routine when we can just kind of go with the flow a little bit more? That's not to say I'm going to let her stay up till 11 o'clock every night. Like, obviously there's still going to be some kind of routine, some sort of structure, but at the same time, I just thought, like, life's too short to kind of have these perfect routines. Just kind of live a little, like it's not the end of the world. And that's kind of, it just made me think. And then like last night I was like, oh, that's a good kind of thing to actually talk about, because a lot of us kind of do things because we think that's what we should be doing, or it's what other people are doing, and actually it doesn't fit our life. It doesn't fit kind of what's kind of going on in our life. And that's kind of, it kind of made me think, like with wellness, so many of us do things that we think we should be doing because it's what everyone else is doing, and it doesn't fit into our life. For example, the 5 a.m. club, like, oh, get up at 5 a.m. and go like reformer Pilates and do this and do that. Great, that's great for some people, but that, what if that works for one person, the chances are probably live on their own, single, or they live with their parents, they've got no kind of huge responsibilities, or maybe they've got kids, and I mean, fair play to you if you are doing that kind of stuff. But for me, that's not realistic. And I was trying before, like when I had my daughter, try and get up early to exercise and all this kind of stuff, and I was burning myself out. And I was like, I was getting a taste like, oh no, she's woke up at this time now, I'm not going to be able to exercise, and I'm not going to be able to do this at 5 o'clock, and oh my god, I failed, did it? No, you haven't failed. Okay, it's just that you are doing things that aren't fitting into your life. You aren't doing things that actually meet you where you're at. And it's like the saying, like, I can't, what's the saying? So basically, like, wellness should kind of fit around your life, not life. Your life should revolve around wellness, if that kind of makes sense. I think I've said that right. But it's basically the idea of kind of wellness should kind of be integrated into your life. Your whole life shouldn't revolve around wellness. And I just thought it's so true, and like it's so important, because what will work with one person won't necessarily work for another. And again, kind of going back to my app and my abilities and the community I want from that, is because it's designed to meet you exactly where you're at. It's not kind of a one size fits all approach and there you go, that's it, like a program. I've literally wrote it for every single person, off you go. No, like it's, you kind of put things in, I'll ask questions, I put, like, honestly, I put so much into it, it's absolutely insane. But like, it will kind of meet you where you're at. It doesn't matter if you're a mum, you're not, you're a single parent, you're married, you're divorced, and it's not just for parents. Don't matter if you're a parent, you're not a parent, you're a business owner, you've got a part-time job, full-time job, you don't work. Like, it is suitable for everybody, and that's the thing I absolutely love. And it's just designed to kind of help you with where you're at in your life without kind of adding that extra stress, that extra sort of pressure that, let's be honest, we don't need, because what's that going to do? I'll say it time and time again, if you are doing things that aren't sustainable, you are kind of going to race forward because you can have this burst of sort of motivation and energy, and then you are going to crash. Literally, it's like the tortoise and the hare. You will sprint forward, you'll have this burst of motivation because you are ready, you want to change your life, you know, like you are destined for more, or maybe you just fed up with the life you're sort of living, and you're like, right, okay, now's the time, okay, and you'll start again. Or maybe it's like every time, like midweek hits, and then it's, I'll start again on Monday. I failed already. Like, I'll start again on Monday, it's fine. Or I'll start next month. Or 6 months goes by. Oh, I'll start in a few months. Like, I'll start when the weather warms up. Or I'll start when I've done. Like, there'll always be an excuse. And this is why it's so important just to kind of do things that will meet you where you're at. Because, like I say, you will race ahead, but then you'll crash. You'll hit a point where you're just like, this is unsustainable, it's not realistic, so what's the point? So then what will you do? You will throw the towel in, and then you'll just think, like, maybe it's just not meant for me. Maybe that life isn't meant for me, so I'm not going to bother. Whereas if you're like the tortoise, you do them small little changes, them small little steps, okay? They'll build and build and build and build, and eventually they will compound, and you will get them lasting results that you want, okay? And it's not going to overwhelm you, you're not going to hit a point of burnout or exhaustion and you throw the towel in, because you are going to create that lasting, sustainable change in a way that suits you, in a way that is sustainable, that's going to meet you exactly where you're at. And this is why doing things like what I do on the app is so important. So obviously there's that side, but then there's also the other side of the community, because it's great having that program and kind of doing things on your own, but kind of what I felt like I was missing is that sort of community side, having kind of them honest chats with people, having someone just to kind of be able, like, brainstorm things off or just bounce off. And I just think stuff like that's important, having that community where we can kind of all kind of work with each other and kind of bounce off each other is so important. That's why I didn't want to just create an app. I wanted to create obviously the app because yes, it's amazing. You've got the library of all the resources, workshops, yoga, meditation, all that kind of stuff. But I also wanted to have a side where there's actually that human connection. We can interact with each other, and that's obviously why I'll jump on and do Zooms. And then we've got things as well like the Zooms where I'll jump on and do live oracle card pulls for people, just because I think like that connections just it's just so much nicer. But yeah, it just made me think, and like the other week, I'm not even joking. I come out in so many spots, and it at first obviously I was annoyed, but it made me realise like, oh my god, the messaging, like the universe is telling me. So basically, I followed like the normal trends. I saw something like a product, like it was like a face cream. Obviously wasn't designed for my skin type, and I just thought, yeah, just it's supposed to be dead good. What happened? I come out in loads of spots, and I was like, oh my god, and it made me think like that is such a good analogy because it's like when we do stuff with wellness, we jump on the trend, we jump on things because we think that's what is going to work for us. It's worked for her, so it's going to work for me. And then what happens? We get them bad results, we quit. Same as me getting on the spot. Because it wasn't designed for me. It wasn't designed to meet me where I was at. Like skincare, it wasn't designed for my skincare. It wasn't designed for my face. It wasn't designed for example, my skin, like my medical condition. Obviously, I've got an underactive thyroid, so I've got different kind of skin compared to somebody else because my cell turnover is different. So it just made me realise, and it's like it's so important to actually do things that suit you. And this is a thing, like so many people will just think, oh well, I'll just get another self-development boo, or I'll just have a little Google, or I'll chat GPT and it'll give me the answer. Which, yeah, great, you might find some useful stuff, don't get me wrong. I love a good self-help, yes, development book. But it's only going to give you so much. And that's why I thought, you know what, this app, I need to pour my heart and soul into it because I know it's going to give people the transformations that they want in a real sort of sustainable way. So yeah, honestly, it's like my baby. I absolutely love it. I'm so proud of it. And obviously, it's got all the other different things. So like I say, it's got your tailored program. And even that in itself is so good. Like today, for example, it's the new moon, so it's got like a whole section on there about like journaling, releasing, how to do it. It's got EFT, got meditation, it's got kind of yoga. Like honestly, it's so good. Obviously, you've got the coaching side, you've got the manifesting side. There's the spiritual side if you're into that kind of stuff. It kind of can track all your health stuff, so it'll link to kind of your Apple Watch, track your steps, your sleep, and it just kind of it gives you a whole sort of picture. And like people will say like, oh, it's just another wellness app or it's just a manifestation app. No, like this is what I will say to people, them are just tools. Okay, the actual thing you're getting is the full transformation. You are gonna completely change your life. You're going to change how you see things. You are going to change as a person. Okay, so if you're not ready to change for the better, then obviously don't come and join us. If you are ready, then this app is for you. Okay, it's going to give you the tools that you need to get you to where you want to be, but in a sustainable way. And then the manifesting is the byproduct. People think like, oh well, you're a manifestation coach, like why is it not just tailored around manifesting? Because that's only a small part. Like, yes, anybody can tell you how go and create a vision board or how to do the 3-6-9 method where you just literally write loads of stuff down and repeat and repeat. That's not going to give you the results. Okay, you've got to do the inner work. You can know everything about manifesting, but if you're not doing this inner work, nothing's going to shift. And this is why it's so important when you do all of these things that is in the app, in the app, you are literally going to be able to manifest what you want, whether that be a better body, the relationship that you want, the career, the money, the health, whatever it is. You will naturally manifest that as a byproduct of becoming the best version of yourself. And I don't mean that like dead cheesy, like cliche, like, oh, best version of yourself. No, I mean like you are going to feel the changes, you are going to notice the shifts, but it's going to be in a way that's going to support you in your life and not just be another thing that adds to the stress. So yeah, I've got such a dry mouth. I say this all the time, like every time I do stuff like this, it's like spirit trying to communicate with me. So yeah, that's why I'm coughing away, and my necklace is twisted, so I'm just rejigging that. So if you are watching it, I bet if you're just listening to the podcast on Spotify, you're like, what on earth is she doing? But yeah, so that is kind of the thing, and it just made me realise, like, the whole message is just kind of just live life a little. Don't be so strict, don't be so rigid with things, and just make sure you're doing things that actually are for you, that make you feel better. Don't do things that are going to burn you out, make you feel overwhelmed, just make you feel like shit because you can't sustain it, because that is just literally going to make you take like 10 steps back. Okay, what we want is be taking them small, steady steps forward to get you to where you want to be. And that is when you'll notice the biggest shifts and the biggest transformations. And then that is when things will naturally sort of kind of shift. And again, like, I'll say this again, time and time again, it's not just about the physical sort of shifts, it's not just about your physical appearance, it's about them inner shifts. And so the app is designed to help you with them. It's working on your inner, your outer, and bringing them together. And that honestly is where the biggest transformations will happen. So yeah, like I say, if that's something you want to kind of work on, you want to come and join us, then I would absolutely love to have you in my world. Honestly, this app, I poured my heart and soul into it. I know for a fact this is going to give the transformations people are after, people need. That's the reason why I was willing to take a step back. I got myself a part-time job because I'm pouring everything into this app. I know the transformation this is going to get people, and I know this is the way forward. This is what, yeah, I just know this is going to be the shift that changes things. Because honestly, and I've been doing it myself, and that is the thing. Like, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I know I'm on my way, and I use this app every single day, and even I'm like, oh, okay, girl, like, yeah, this app is sick, like, and that's not me kind of blowing my own trumpet, but honestly, it is so good. And I think it's like, because obviously it's American, but obviously you can pay like UK money, but it works out like less than £20 a month. It's an absolute steal. You can literally try for free for 7 days. You've got nothing to lose. So what are you waiting for? Come and join us. I'll stop rambling now. I literally made a promise to my daughter and myself that I am going to pick her up early, so that is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm going to try and get this released quick. Released, updated, uploaded, whatever the word, you know what I mean, it's hot. But yeah, I am going to try and keep obviously doing these now weekly, so make sure you stay tuned. And yeah, thanks for listening if you've actually got this far. Sorry for my brain going off on a tangent. Honestly, it's like a big sort of mind map, and all these little things come spiraling off. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I shall catch up with you very soon. Lots of love.